welcome to Ganglo.net. My name is Wally Sarkisian, and today we're going with Assyrians. And so our guest today is Sabro Bengaro. Did I say that right?
Sabro Bengaro.
Sabro Bengaro. And he's one of those Assyrian. He worked hard for Assyrian cause. So there is a book. So because this book is so big, we cannot put it in there. But he's going to talk about this Assyrian book, and we'll see what happened from there. And then we'll ask him some question. Okay, so welcome, and please just introduce yourself and tell us if you represent any Assyrian organization or not.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wali, for having me in your program. My name is Sabro Bengaro. I was born in Turkey, but I'm Swedish citizen. I lived in many other countries. I am the founder of the Assyrian Genocide Research called Seyfo Center. Seyfo Center was established 2003 in Europe. We have branches in Europe, but also we have 2 branches in America. And we do raise awareness about the Assyrian Genocide. As you Armenian, you know about the Armenian Genocide, but there are many Armenian sister brothers, they don't know enough that also other groups like Assyrians and Greeks, they were also victims on this genocide. We are 3 different people, but we face a genocide 1915, and still this genocide that against the Armenian, Assyrian, Greeks, they denied by the Republic of Turkey. And day by day, we are working together to raise awareness and to make these perpetrators accountable for the crime they did.
So right now, where do you live?
Right now, I am in Texas, Dallas.
Okay.
I am a researcher. I do my PhD about the Assyrian Genocide. My thesis will be focused about the impact of the Holy War Jihad that was declared in the Ottomans, November 14, 1914, the jihad and the participation of the Kurds on the Assyrian Genocide. These are questions that I am dealing with. And the last year, we tried to publish some books, translate them, edit them, and in order to raise awareness about what happened to Assyrian people.
Is this the book that I'm showing cover in there? Is that the one you're talking?
This is one of the book that was written in Assyrian language, published 1965, and we decided that it is worth that also English speakers should read this book. And it is written by Horish Jakob Shlimun. It was written 1965. And recently, the Seyfo Center, the organization, published this book. This book provides a new and clearer view of the events that took place during the century, which was the most bitter in the history of the Assyrian people. Horish was there when the things he writes about this history account happened. Most other writers have based their writings on the hearsay from others who tend to add or subtract from what they have heard. They have not had the ability to sift the truth from what they have heard. But everything that Horish has written is based on the truth. And there are some other books that they were based on the oral testimonies written by Assyrians. For example, this one, Farman, written by a clergy member, Suleiman Hanno. I think it was written about 1960 something in Assyrian language, but in diaspora countries, in the Netherlands, we were able to translate it and publish it in Turkish, in Swedish, in Dutch, in German.
Ah,
This and there are many other books, and there is also one book, Mr. Wali, that I want you to know about. There is a book written by Ishaq Armalto, a Syrian clergy member. He published his book 1919 in Lebanon and 1919 in Arabic language. And it is amazing book. He described things in southeastern Turkey, what happened to Armenians and Assyrians together. And the governor of Diyarbakir, for example, Rashid Bak, how he organized the Kurdish tribes and killed 10,000 of Armenians and Assyrians, and he was one of the survivors, and he collected these oral testimonies, and he published his book 1919 in Lebanon. Still, it is in Arabic. I hope we will be able to translate it and publish it in English too.
now this question I always ask even Armenians. We write books, we make movies, and all that, but at the end we read them. We're not. Have your books are gone in the hand of other than Assyrians?
This book, yeah, good question. You know, I have been for a few years in US, and I noticed that the Armenian community really they are doing great job. It is not easy to live in diaspora countries to organize these works, and so thousands of books they are published about the Armenian genocide. There are 27 that I know, or 17. I can mistaken. Universities in America they teach about the Armenian history, culture, language, and there are many scholars. And you do lobby. There are 49 states except Mississippi recognize the Armenian genocide,
Well, they did
and
now too.
Congress,
Yeah, they
the
did that
Congress,
too.
the Senate. Exactly, yeah. And so there is a lot of knowledge. The university that I am studying, doing my research, almost everybody, historian, they know about the Armenian genocide. Soon, Professor Taner Akçam, he will come to the Armenian church in Dallas, talk about his book about the Armenian genocide. So there is a lot of knowledge about, but you know, still it is not enough. Turkey is almost 80 million people population. They have this brutal dictator Azerbaijan behind them. Also, there are some European countries, some other great nations. Because of their interest, they support this Turkey and Armenian community. You know what Armenia they have? They have. Do they have a gasoline? Are they rich? No. This is the reason also many times
Yeah.
this superpower, they don't care about you, about me, about being victims. And this is the reason I think we need to praise the Armenian diaspora, Armenian people for the work they are doing. I used to live in Los Angeles, and I see really, maybe you have your differences among the Armenian organization, but sometimes I think you are doing amazing work. I have been in Armenia too. I have been 5 times in Armenia. I participated on the, for example, April 24th, and I saw almost everybody was there, but it is more 24 April to commemorate the Armenian genocide. And in Europe also, I lived in Sweden, in the Netherlands, I lived in Germany, Austria, and in Greece, for example, we participated on the many conferences, 3 nations, Armenian, Greeks, and Assyrians to speak with one voice. We do a lot, but still we have to organize ourselves better to be more politically powerful, to change the mindset, to force Turkey to recognize the Armenian Assyrian genocide. And 1914, the population in the Turkey was 14.5 million. 4.5 million, they were Christians, Armenian, Assyrian, Greeks. This makes 33% of the population, they were Christians. Now, 2023, the Christian population in Turkey is 0.1%. There are around 150,000 altogether Christian. What happened to them? And this dictator Erdogan goes and say, Alhamdulillah, we are Muslims, we are Turks, but you and I know how they make it republic for only the Turks. And still they denies the genocide, what they did towards Armenian, Assyrian, Greeks. And this hurt us. This stopped because it is open wound. It stopped the healing process. And many people, they say, oh, wow, it was 100 years ago, forget about it. No, we will never forget about it. This is my message.
Yes. And Turks, their excuses is that they kill Armenian because Armenian joined the Russian. So always I ask them, well, why they kill the Assyrian? What did the Assyrian join? So it's just like they have those fake convoluted try to defend themselves. Well, I was in many like in Los Angeles a few years ago, Assyrian Armenian National Committee. Here is the picture. They signed memorandum to work with each other. They also signed with Greek, and I was there. I interviewed. Is that tall guy? I forgot his name. He's
Mr. Ramantash. He was the president of the Assyrian Association in Los Angeles. They are doing a great job.
Right, and I met all of them. And also one time at Assyrian, they had. I think it's
Father George Beth Rasho, yes.
Yeah, I think they had like something August
7.
August 7, genocide of Semel, I think. I was there. I interviewed all those people. So we tried to. That's why I wanted to invite you to come and talk, because we like to talk about the Assyrians, Armenians, the Greek. We have same cause, but some of us are not. Some are organized, some not organized. They need all to be together to work together.
I agree with you. August 7, 1933, together with the irregular Kurds, the Iraqi army, they committed genocide against the Assyrians. August 7, 1933 in Simele. This is the reason we call it Simele massacre or Simele genocide. And the people that you have interviewed, they are great people. Mr. Ramantaj still is active. He was representing the Assyrian Association in Los Angeles, and Father George Beth Rasho also, I know him. They are doing very good work. And we need to work together more, and not only Armenia, Assyrian, and Greeks, because the Armenian genocide, it was not only a genocide against the Armenian people, it was a crime against humanity. All kind of human beings, they should say, no, this is wrong. We are against it. Turkey is accountable. And because if they have the possibility, they will do it again and again, because
they already did.
The mentality is there. You see what they do in Nagorno-Karabakh. If their plan is together with Turkey to force the population from Nagorno-Karabakh and to change the demography, like they are doing in Cyprus, for example. And we know how they did it in Anatolia, and force religion, and force people to immigrate, and assimilate them and kill them. And we need to speak up more.
Yeah. What is Assyrian population? Because Assyrian, like Armenian, are scattered around the world, and I believe still there are some villages in northern Iraq. There are Assyrian, and Assyrian. There is this I still don't understand. There's some called Keldan Christian, some they call them different things. Can you explain what are all these things?
Yeah, I will try do my best. Uh, for many centuries, we used to live under the Ottoman Empire, uh, other empires, and all these, they try to assimilate us. For example, in Iraq, in Syria, in Arabic country, they try to Arabize us. In Turkey, they try Turkificate us, and we were not able to have our institutions. We were not able to uh, teach our language, speak our language, strengthen our identity. So kind limited, we were allowed to be kind of Christians, but we were not allowed to be and to demand our national rights. So Assyrian, for example, in Turkey, when they immigrate from Turkey to Sweden, to Netherlands, to Germany, they used to say, we are Christians. And this European, they were saying, we don't care about your Christianity. What are you? Are you Turk? They were saying, no, we are, no, 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 God forbid, we are not Turk, we are not Kurd, we are Christians. But this European, they were asking their identity. At the end, the answer was most of the time religious identity. If they were from Syriac Orthodox Church, they were saying we are Syriac. If they were from the Chaldean Church, they were saying we are from the Chaldean Church. If they were from other church, they were giving their church name. But since we have educated ourselves, regardless our churches, we have Chaldean Church, we have Syriac Orthodox Church, we have Church of the East, but all these people, they are Assyrians, and we used to live in Mesopotamia for 6,000 years. We are the people from there, and now the population is less and less. It looks like we became refugees in our ancestral land. And now we live in Australia, we live in America, in Canada, in Europe. In Iraq, still there are about 150,000 Christian Assyrian, what I know. In Turkey, we have about 25,000 Assyrians. In southeastern Turkey, we have three very old monasteries. From one of them, Saint Mor Gabriel, 1,700 years, and Deir Zahvaran, other monasteries. We have about 20 villages. There are Assyrians living there. And in Iran, the population is less. Also in Syria, since 2014, when ISIS took part in many places, the number is less. So the question that we have is it possible to live, to be a Christian, an Assyrian, and still survive in the Middle East? And nobody can for sure give a correct answer. Maybe it's very difficult to be an Assyrian and as Christian and or survive in these circumstances.
Well, yeah, it's a sad story. So, like for example, Armenians diaspora more concentrated in few areas. Like they are everywhere, but say in U.S., France, and Russia. How about Assyrian? Where is their concentration?
For example, in Sweden, we have a large community. We have about 150 to 200,000 Assyrians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most of them they are Assyrians from Turkey, but now there are also Assyrians from Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran. They are the number is not very much. We are much organizers in Sweden than any other countries. We have about 6 members of the Swedish Parliament. I think we have one minister still. No, he was now the government changed. He was a minister in Sweden, 6 member of the parliament. In all local cities, we have representatives. We have
That's
two
good.
federations, Assyrian and Syriac Federation, and we have association. I think more than 50 Assyrian associations. We have two soccer team. They are very well known, Assyriska, Syrianska. If you go to Stockholm, and the most known restaurants they owned by Assyrians. We have journalists who are Assyrians, businessmen, etc. Also, we have criminals. So we have all, and this is, we are a nation, we are people. We have both successful and unsuccessful people. 10,000 of student Assyrian youth, they study in different universities. They became teachers, historians, journalists, etc. And this is the reason you hear every single day more about Assyrians, because if I compare the Armenian with Assyrians, Armenian they immigrated to US, to France, to other countries for a long time ago, and their kids they went to school, they educated themselves, they speak languages, they became politicians, they became journalists, they became scholars, they produce work, and they speak about their people. But the Assyrians, from southeastern Turkey, 40, 50 years ago, our immigration started to Sweden. They were very poor people. These people, when they came to Sweden, it took 10 years with them to establish. And then their kids, they start to go to school, but now they are established and their kids, they grow up and they are educated. They are asking the question, why are we here? Why are we facing the assimilation process? Why we can't communicate anymore with our Assyrian brother, sister in Germany? Because if you bring these people, their kids from Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, they speak 3, 4, 5 languages and they can't communicate with their own language because they grow up in different countries, but they question their identity, why we left our home country. And then we face, 1915, it was a genocide. 1915, this was the reason my mom, my grandpa was crying day by day, and they were not able to speak because it was a taboo subject in Turkey to speak about Armenian, Assyrian, because it could happen everything to you. Few days ago was the commemoration of Hrant Dink. You know Hrant Dink? It was 19 January 2007, just in the afternoon, by a Turkish fascist, well organized, of course. The Turkish state was behind. They went after him and they shot him in Constantinople. And because they didn't want anybody like Hrant Dink to speak about the Armenian and Assyrian genocide. Um, and but
So from Turkey is like from Mardin. Is that where most Assyrian?
most Assyrians, in Armenian you call it the
Tikranakert. Yeah.
sometimes we call it in Assyrian Omid and Diyarbakir, the official name in Turkey. Uh, when the governor of Diyarbakir, Dr. Rashid was there, 1914, 1915. It was a large Armenian Assyrian population in Diyarbakir. And regardless if they were Assyrian, Armenian, he organized the Kurdish tribes with his special organization, and they started to kill these Armenian Assyrians. But they went one after one. For example, they went to Assyrian, some of their churches, Syriac Orthodox Church. They said, "You are nice people, nothing against you. Don't worry. This is about these Armenians." And but when they were done with the Armenians, they went to the Orthodox Church, the Syriac Orthodox Church. They said, "Don't worry about. It is nothing about you. It's about the other church, Syrian Catholic." Or
So divide and conquer.
exactly, this is what happened. At the end, it was against all. And this is the reason our elderly people, I interviewed more than 150 genocide survivors, Assyrians. I have their testimonies. They said they didn't distinguish between any Armenian Assyrian, because for them, we were infidels. So this was against the infidels, Christians. So,
And now, after they used the Kurds to kill Armenian, one Kurdish guy was saying, if you kill Armenian, the door of hell will close on you, door of heaven will open on you. And now they're killing the Kurds. So they know how to use one against another. They're evil empire.
they are very professional. They have good experience by doing this.
Yeah, that's 300-400 year of empire. So
Yes.
this is why they always fool Armenians. Yeah, we go open the border, we be peace with you, and some corrupt Armenian politician comes says, "Oh, we like to make peace," but they don't understand. The Turks are Turks. They don't understand what peace is. I mean, look at now, they are in every country problem with Iraq, with Syria. My Syrians are Muslims, so why they are in there? So they're evil people, you know. So, but Armenian Assyrians, they must, I don't want to call it propaganda, has to be joined against the Turk exposing their crimes and not trust them, because I remember even one time a few years ago, those Assyrian patriarchy, they were with Erdogan or Davutoglu, so they're gonna open their churches. So they know how to fool, you know.
How many years ago was that, Mr. Wali?
I really don't remember, but at least 10 years, maybe more, you know.
You know, it was also last week something very similar happened.
Oh, really?
Definitely. There are Assyrians, we have a kind of identity questions. Some people, they call them self-Assyrian. Some of them call them self-Aramean. And the top of these people, not all, of course, definitely we can generalize, they are, Turkey controls them.
Yeah.
And Turkey, not all churches that we have in Turkey, but some of them, they are like whatever Turkey, Erdogan wants, they do it.
Yeah.
Also, they have power, for example, in Sweden, they have power in Germany, and we are aware of it, but it's very sensitive also, because these are clergy members. Whenever we say, "Oh, wow, this is not your work, be aware of it. How can you be with Turkish embassy? How can you?" But they play them against the Kurds. Of course, the Kurds participated on the killing of the Armenians.
Yes.
And also Assyrians. We condemn them.
So right now, the Turks been like 40 years now, they're killing the Kurds. And so this is what they do. They just turn one against another, and
they do it. So we need to be, and I guess also the Armenian church representatives in Turkey, of course, it is not like we can't expect them to speak, like you are speaking in Los Angeles or myself being in Texas. We understand these things, but there is a difference to be their people, to play their card. And some of our clergy members' organization, they are controlled by the Ottoman Turks, and we have to find a way to make it clear to be against this. And one more thing, Mr. Walid, that I would like to express. We will never again, and it is enough. We will not discuss with Turkey whether this was a genocide or not. This chapter is over. What we are asking, Turkey has to compensate the Armenian Assyrian Greek genocide. And like Professor Akçam, now he's in Los Angeles. In his book, he says, okay, I understand. Turkey says it is not a genocide. Even if it was, he's one of the scholars that recognized the Armenian genocide, published many books about it. But imagine if they were sending the Armenians to Florida, to Los Angeles for vacation. But how about their properties? How about their churches? How about their lands? How about this conversation to Islam? And Turkey need to pay. We have to make Turkey accountable and to pay the compensation to Armenians and Assyrian and Greeks.
So who is like Armenia, for example? They have a couple of organizations who fight, like ANCA, Armenian Assembly. Who are the forefront of Assyrians?
You mean as organizations?
Yes.
As organizations, the organization that I am the founder and the director of the Assyrian Genocide Research, a Seyfo Center, is the only focus we have is about genocide.
I see.
We are the only organization, but I'm very happy that there are many other organizations. For example, in the United States, also they care about this subject. For example, the Assyrian Federation in America, the Assyrian Association in California, in Arizona, the Police Institute we have in U.S. The genocide matter also is important for them, but they deal with many other questions as well. The Seyfo Center, we only focus on the Assyrian genocide.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I think you guys starting to do a good job and raising your voice, organizing. So
honestly, I was in Armenia. I visited Armenia for 5 times, and there are 4 Assyrian villages close to Yerevan. I know people there, and we have a genocide monument in the centrum of Yerevan. And after Sweden, Armenia is, yeah, exactly. This is the Assyrian Genocide Monument. I think it's my picture there. Also, I am there.
oh, I
And
don't know.
yeah, I was there when we had this monument. And Armenia is the after Sweden was the second country that recognizes the Assyrian genocide. There are altogether 8 countries, 8 states. But we need our Armenian brothers, sisters support to make the Assyrian genocide more known and acknowledged by many other states, also in the United States. And I am sure, and we can learn a lot from the Armenians, how they do lobby and other things, and work together, because to speak with one voice is very important. And we should include other peoples also. Like I said, this crime, it was not only against Armenians, it was a crime against humanity. Every human being should stand against Turkey and make Turkey accountable for the crime they did it. for the crime what they do in Nagorno-Karabakh as well.
So where people can buy this book?
This book is in Amazon, also in Lulu, and also I wish our website is seyfocenter.com. People, they can send us email. We can provide them more information about the Assyrian genocide. But this book is in Amazon. There are many other books also in Amazon. If they press Assyrian genocide, there are about 10, 15 books dealing with the Assyrian genocide. And we have some other project also we are working on it. And so hopefully when I am in Los Angeles, I can visit you. We can talk more about it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I thank you very much for taking your time. I'll just let you end with whatever thought you have before we close.
The final thought that I have is I truly believe Turkey will not be able to deny the Armenian, Assyrian, and Greek genocide forever. And we will force Turkey to acknowledge their past and to condemn the past. And Turkey will never have a place in modern world. So far, they deny the genocide of 1915. Thank you very much, Mr. Val.
Thank you for coming, taking your time. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm sure we'll do more of this. If you have in future the stuff you want to say, you're welcome anytime. And just stay there, don't go away, and I'll talk to you. But let me just close this program.
Thank you.
For our viewer, thank you very much for watching. And this was very informative information. And so as you could see, Assyrians are working hard in different countries, different places. And if you happen to be Assyrian, contact them, join with them, fight with them, because this cause cannot die. They kill, murder our not only parents and grandparents and thousands of years of history they killed. They're Turks. And this is an evil people. No Armenian, no Assyrian, no Greece should trust those people. There is only one thing about Turks: recognize your crime and compensate for your crime. Those are only two things Armenian, Assyrian, Greeks to talk to the Turks. They always will say this time. Always they told me. I used to have before lots with the Turks. We kill Armenians. We deported Armenians because they joined Russia. That is their excuse. So I tell them, why did you kill the Assyrian? What was their crime? Why did you kill the Greece? What was their crime? Why you're killing now the Kurds? Why you're going Syria killing the Arabs? This is what I tell them. But of course, they deny all that stuff. But we will fight all Armenian Christians, Syrians. They all have to unite and fight this cause. And I thank you very much for watching. And will anything happen about as far as Assyrians, we will bring it live and we'll talk about it.